Hello friends, in this video what I am going to tell you about the experiment number 5, in which what you have to do, you have to perform the experiment number 5 and you have to do sieve analysis of coarse particles, coarse aggregate. So coarse aggregate, what are that? That are the crushed rock or crushed stones. So what you have to do, you have to separate it out according to its fraction sizes. And you can see these are the group of students, they are performing this experiment, how they are very well sensible and interested in doing this experiment, because it is very interesting and you will learn a lot in it. And you can see there are different sieve sizes, and because they are having different openings, so some have bigger openings and some have smaller openings. Why is it so? Because you have different sizes of sieves, 3 inches sieve, 1 inch sieve, 1 into 1 by 3 inches sieve, 3 by 8 inches sieve, 3 by 4 inches sieve, 1 upon 2 inches sieve, 2 inches sieve, 2.5 inches sieve. Why is it so? Because there is a mesh inside the sieves from which you have to do sieving of a coarse aggregate. And you can see these are the sieves of bigger size, and you will see for sieve sizes for smaller particles should be small. And you can see the student is brought the bigger size sieves, and you can see the biggest opening in that, in the blue one, and that is the 3 inches size sieve. So what is that? That's a square, and inside the match size, that is should be of 3 inches by 3 inches. So that's why it is named as 3 inches. If it is 1 inches, so what does it mean by that? That sieve sizes should be 1 inches. And you can see students right now arranging all the sieves. Why is it so? They are watching and looking at the strength of material manual, and there is a sequence giving over there. So first, what they have to do first, they have to arrange the sieve sizes from the descending from the top, and at the top what they have to take, they have to take the biggest opening sieve. So that will be 3 inches sieve. Then they have to take 2 inches sieve. Then they will go for the 2.5 inches sieve. Then 1 inches, 1.5. Then there is 0.75 inches sieve. You can say 3.8, 3 divided by 8 or 3 divided by 4 inches. Then there will be 0.5 inches. This sequence is given in your manual. So what you have to do, you have to put the sieve with the biggest opening at the top, and the lowest opening at the bottom. And then after that, you have to put the pan, and at the top, what you have to do, you have to put the lid. And in this way, the lid, the material will not get wasted while you are doing sieve shaking. So we can do a manual sieve shaking also. We can do sieves through sieve shaker also. So we were having sieve shaker in the lab, and there will be the sieve shaker is different for the bigger size sieves, and for the smaller size sieve, the sieve shaker is separate, different. So what you have to do, you have to take the sieve shaker for the biggest sieves, or you can say the sieves for the coarser particles. So but we unfortunately our sieve shaker of the coarser particle sieves were not in working condition. So what we have done this manually. And you can see these sieves are getting older, and it is also rusted. The rusting is not the issue, because but the major issue is that they are not in the correct condition. Now they are getting wavy, so it is quite difficult to put at each other. So you cannot fix it properly, because somewhere it is coming out, somewhere it is coming down. So it is quite difficult to make it fix. So it should for correct reading and precautions is that you should have the proper sieves over there. So you have to arrange it. And now you can see the group of students doing what they are doing, or arranging the sieves from the biggest size sieve, which is having biggest opening at the top, and the lowest opening at the end. And now they are arranging it, and it is quite difficult to arrange these sieves because they are getting wavy with the passage of time, because it happens, because sometimes it happens that when you throw it, or if you are doing horseplay with it and playing with it, so it will become wavy or not in remain in the correct sizes or correct condition. So what you have to do, we have to take more seeds for this slab. Obviously, we have given this order, and procurement have done all that, and hopefully this slab will be upgraded within this month. And now you can see the students are arranging this, but it is getting on higher side because it's getting at the height. So students are performing it right now, and then after that what they have to do, they have to take 2000 gram crushed aggregate for this experiment. So what they have to do, they have to do wait for this. So now they put it on the table, and now they arrange all the sieves in the correct order, the biggest one at the top and the lowest one at the bottom. And there is a lid which will through which they will close it. And I must tell you here that we will do what? We will do shaking through manually, not with the sieve shaker, because it is not in the working condition. And I will show in this video that where you will get the sieve shaker in the lab. And you can see students are not playing over there, they are working very smoothly. They are talking to each other, but they are not playing over here. So it's good thing that they are following the precautions. And now what they have done, they were waiting for the one sieve, and now they put it up together. And what they will do in the next step, they arrange it properly. So now they are going for the sample, to get the sample and to arrange the sample for it. So let's see. Two of the students went to take the sample. And now you can see this student is collecting the sample, and he is going for the weight. Oh my god, he forgot it where he is going. He has to bring it to wait for this. Lab attendant and the other student is waiting for him. Now he put the tray on the weighing balance, and it make it 0. And now they are going to put the crushed aggregate. And one thing I want to add over here, if you are having oven in the lab, so what you will do, because when you will put a crushed aggregate somewhere, so it will get moisture due to the environment. So you have to put it in the oven for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, so it will get dry. And when it will get dry, then you will start performing this experiment. So now the students are working. So you have to take 2000 gram sample for the test for this experiment. So you have to take 2000 gram means 2 kg. So now it is done. Now they are going to put it on the top of the pan. And when they will put it in the top of the pan, so you have to be very careful that dust does not come out. And you can see the student is performing it very carefully. And then you have to put the lid at the top of the sieve. And now it is getting higher, so it is quite difficult to shake it. So what you have to do, you have to place this on the stool or somewhere on the lower size. So now student brought the stool, and now they are going to put it there, and then they will shake it. So it is quite difficult to shake these sieves because it is in not the proper condition, but it will be helpful to understand how can you perform the experiment. So 3-4 students will do together and keep it carefully, and then they will shake it, because there is no need of shake it too much, because these are the coarse aggregates, so it can easily move on. So what you have to do, you have to shake it. Then in that way, whatever the particles which can passes from the lower sieves, and the other particles which has to be retained on the sieve, so it will get retained. So in the last, what will happen, the amount will get some amount will be passed from the last sieve, and it will get retained on the pan. So now what they are doing, so they are shaking it. So when they will shake it, so what they have to do after that, they have to put it out one by one. So they have to open it and they have to weight it carefully. And keep it in mind, if you are separating out, so what you have, if you have to separate out one sieve, so you have to put that the amount which is retained on that sieve, so you have to put it on the tray and weight it one by one. For example, how much amount left on the sieve, 3 inches sieve, 2 inches sieve, 1.5 inches sieve, 0.5 inches sieve, 0.75 inches sieve. So whatever the amount retained on it, so one by one you have to put it on the tray and you have to weight it. Now your students are doing it manually separately also, because it is not fixed properly, so it was not shaking it properly because it was going opening. So they are doing it one by one, but you can see there are wastage is happening over here, so you will not get the accurate amount. So you have to be very careful while doing this experiment so you will get the total amount after calculation will be equals to 2000 gram. At least if it is not 2000 grams, so it will come nearest to the 2000 gram. So the amount will not, even a single stone is very important, because it will if it will be wasted, so what will happen, so the amount will be left and the weight will be reduced. So now you can see there are some stones coming out from there, and now they will weight one by one. So the amount which is left is the residue on the pan, and now they have to weight it one by one. So what they have to do, they have to put out all the sieves one by one, and the amount which is retained on the sieve. Now you can see students are putting out these sheets, separating out, and they are writing the amount, which amount, how much amount left on each or retained on each sheet. So one student is writing it down, and you can see in the starting sheet there were no amount left on or retained on it. So he is writing 0 in the columns. I will show it in the manual also, because after performing this demonstration of this experiment, so we will discuss manual also, and how can you work it out on the manual as well. And you can see students, all the sieves are, they are putting it out and writing the amount, and now they got the amount in the sieve. So now they are going to put it on the tray, and what they will do, they will bring it to the weighing balance and they will weight it, and the amount which will they will get it, so they will write it down into the column, into the column of the manual. So one student is writing over there. Now they will weight it, and they are looking at the sieve sizes as well. So they have to write the weight on the correct sieve, whatever the weight retained they get on the on which sieve. So they are writing over there. So one student is writing and the other one is doing the weighing. So you can see there, and one thing I want to tell you, there are two shakers. You can see the green one is the biggest shaker, and you can do coarse aggregate sieve analysis over there. And for the fine aggregate, you should see the blue one. So that one is also the sieve shaker we will use in the sieve analysis of fine aggregate. Now you can see students are doing one by one all the weight of each sieve. So they will weight it and they will write it down in the columns of the. They are looking at the column. They are looking for the weight for the sieve, and they are putting it out. It's quite difficult. Now you can see it is very tight, and they are trying to do to separate it out. For this purpose, you can use the shovel. The shovel is good to help you out to put out sieve from other sieve if it is get tightened. Now, students, this is your manual, and this is an experiment here, which you will see in your manual. And you can see you have to perform a sieve analysis of coarse aggregate. Sieve analysis is an operation of dividing a sample of aggregate into fractions. Different sieve sizes are used for analysis. The dividing line between, I must tell you here that sieve number 4 is the separating line for the coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. So after the pan, you will use the number 4 sieve for fine aggregate. So you will start getting the fine aggregate after the sieve number 4. So the sieves arranges that the biggest opening is at the top and the smallest opening is at the bottom. And what you have to do, you have to find out the weight retained and cumulative weight percentage retained in the calculation table. And then you have to plot the graph, and graph should be between the x-axis on the sieve opening, sieve sizes, and on the y-axis cumulative percentage passing. And then what are the apparatus required for this experiment? A stack of sieves, including pan and cover. I already showed you in the experiment. Then you need balance. What is the another thing? Mechanical sieve shaker. I already told you why do we use the oven. Mechanical sieve shaker was it in not in working condition, so we have done manual sieving. And then what you have to do, you have to take the material sample of 500 grams is written over here, so you have to correct it. You should have to take 2000 grams of sample of coarse aggregate. And I have discussed all the things about this. Now I am moving towards the procedure. I have already told you about the apparatus. And now I am moving towards the procedure. And what is the procedure? I have already told you, arrange the sieves in the order, pour the sample on the sieve, start shaking the sieve tower. After proper shaking, separate out the sieve and weight the sample retained on each sieve. Sieve is written wrong, so you should correct it in your manual. So it should be sieve. Enter that enter the data into the sieve analysis table. The table is given in this manual, and what you have to do, you have to plot the graph of particle size distribution. And keep it in mind that you have to make the table. You can write down the values in the table, whatever you will get it, and what are the calculation you have done this. But you have to make the table in the Excel, and then you have to plot the graph. And I have discussed here how much material you have to take it. So you have to take 2000 gram of sample coarse aggregate here. So after, but you have to correct it. You are not going to take 500 grams. I have already told you. I have told you the procedure as well in the demonstration. What are the things you have to follow? What are the steps you have to follow here? So all things are given over there. In the observation, what you have to do, total weight of sample should be 2000 grams. Now this is the calculation table, or you can say observation table. And the sieve sizes starts from 3 inches to the pan. 3 inches, 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 1 inch, 3 by 4 inches, 1 by 2 inches, 3 by 8 inches, 1 by 4 inches, and then you have to take pan. Then after that, you have to take weight retained. You have to take the student was doing in the lab. I already told you what you should have to do. You have to write down the weight retained on the column, and the column in grams. So whatever the weight retained on each sieve, so you should have to write in front of each sieve size in column. Then you have cumulative weight retained, cumulative percentage weight retained, cumulative percentage weight passing. So you should do all these calculations in the Excel. And how can you do that? I will tell you in this video. And how can you plot the graph and all the things I will tell you. And you can see over here how I am telling you how can you take all these cumulative weight. Now you can see these are the sieves which you have used in the uh, laboratory. The sieve analysis of a given sample of coarse aggregate is performed. The graph is also plotted. Now you have to make this table on your Excel. And how can you make this? I am going to share the screen with you. How can you do or perform this experiment in the Excel? And you will love to do this because it is very simple. When I will tell you in easier steps. And then what you have to do, calculations for experiment number 5. So whatever you do calculations for the observation table, so you have to write it down in the calculation for experiment number 5. And this is conclusion. I have already told you, you have to discuss the graph, whatever the reading you will get it. So this is all about this experiment. How can you perform? How can you write down all the calculations? Whatever the calculations you do it in the table. So you have to show your calculations in the calculations for experiment number 5. And now what I am going to do is that I have to tell you how can you do on the Excel. How can you make work on Excel? That how can you plot the graph on the Excel? In this video, I will tell you about the demonstration in the lab and how can you do work in the manual. And I already told you in the conclusion, you have to discuss what you have to discuss the whatever the reading you got it in the graph. and you have to discuss that graph. Now I have opened this Excel and I am going to make that observation table in front of you. So it will be easier for you. How can you make it this table properly in the Excel sheet, and how can you plot the graph? In this Excel sheet, what I am going to tell you is that first you should have to write the weight of the sample. So I wrote it incorrectly. Now I'm moving towards it and I am going to write it down, weight of the sample. So this is the weight of the sample. How much weight of the sample you have today? I have already told you that is 2000 grams. So this is 2000 grams. And then you have to start the observation table. And how can you make it? So first of all, then you have to write down the serial number. Then should be the sieve sizes in inches. Sieve number, you can say, or you can say sieve sizes. Then you can write down the weight retained. But before weight retained, you can take sieve sizes in millimeter. This is weight retained. And then what you have to take? Weight retained. And now you have to take weight cumulative percentage weight. Cumulative weight retained. Then you have to take what cumulative percentage weight retained. So you can easily put percentage sign, or you can write down the percentage over there. And in the next, what you have to do, cumulative percentage weight retained. And what you have to do next, it is passing, because what you have to do, sieve number, serial number, sieve number in inches, or sieve sizes in inches. You have to add one more column, sieve sizes in millimeter. You should write down sieve size in millimeter. Now it's done. And now I will take the value, sample value. So you don't consider that one, because I have taken only a sample value. I have assumed it myself. So you have to take that reading which you have taken from the lab. So the sieve sizes are 3 inches, 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 1 inches. Then you will get 3 by 8, so 3 by 4. So it is taking into the date. So what you have to do, you have to go for the format cell, or you can write it down 3 divided by 4. So what you have to do, you have to right click and format cell, and you have to click on the journal. So when you will click on the journal, so you will get your value in the decimal form. Now 0.5, and after that 0.5 inches. That is written as 1/2 inches. And if you will select in the format cell that fraction, so you will get your value in the fraction. I will not get this sieve size on the x-axis. I will take sieve sizes in millimeter on the x-axis. So if you want to write down the value in the fraction, so you can write it down. So 0.25 inches. Then what is the next value? Let's see, that is pen. So now it's done. So how many serial number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then it's 9. And then sieve number in millimeter, how can I take it? So I'm going to see the conversion on Google. And let me share the screen with you. How can I convert it into millimeter? So how much 1 inch is equals to how much millimeter? So let's see on the Google what amount we are getting. So let me show the screen with you, or share with you that screen. So tell you how much amount. So let's write convert 1 inches, or you can write convert inches into millimeter. So you will get 1 inch is equals to 25.4 millimeters. So you should remember this, because you are going to be a civil engineer. So you need to know, you have learned that the conversions. Now I can write down this value in static 25.4. So I will click the drag and drop. So 25.4 will be the constant, and there is no need to do for the pan, and you should write down the pan same for this. Now weight retained, how can you get it? Obviously you have to do observation over there. So I am taking sample values 0, 0, 0. In the four sieves, there are no retained. And after that, we will start to get the amount. So let me assume what amount I have to take it. 172 grams first. I'm taking 117.2. I am assuming, or we can change this amount. So we can change it as well. I think this amount is more. So let me see. We can write down 172 grams. And then we have to write down weight retained should be in milligrams. So you should write down the unit in the weight retained also. So what is the next amount? You can see in 9.525 millimeter, what is the amount? 1601. No, it's coming out to be too much. We will take it other values. Let me see what I assume, because I am taking 2000 grams, so it should come out equal to 0. No, it not equals to 0, because it should become out to be 2000 grams. So whatever the weight retained, you will get it observed in the lab. So you should write it down. So I have to take other values here. 172 grams. The next value is what? 722 grams. Then what? What is 707 grams? Then 331 grams. Then what? 65 grams. And for cumulative weight retained, what we have to do, what we are going to do, first you have to make it in the center. And you can see at 0.575 inches, we are getting 172, then 707 at 0.375 inches, and we are getting 0.2 at 0.25 weight retained is 331. So we are getting the maximum at 0.5 inches. So we have more size of 0.5 inches as compared to the other sizes. So let's now what we have to do, we should have to write down the weight retained same. So we are going to equals to and this cell. So and from this step, what we have to do equals to, we have to sum up the previous value we got it and the second value from the weight retained. So we will add this. Then in the next step, I want to tell you, and then after that, I will do drag and drop. So we will select the previous value and the value which is next to the weight retained, and then we will drag and drop. So when you will click and this plus sign, you will get it. So you will have to drag it and drop. So now you can see 1997, it is nearest to the 2000 grams. So you should be sure that your value should be coming out to be the nearest weight of the sample. So let me color it. 197 is equals to nearly equals to 2000 grams. So there is a 3 grams wastage somewhere that it comes out in the form of the dust. So weight is lost over there, but it is up till now, there is an error of very minor percentage, but we will get the accurate amount nearest to the 2000 grams. So what we have to do next, we have to find out the cumulative percentage weight retained and make sure that your amount is coming near to the 2000 gram. Now you have to apply the percentage formula over here. So what we have to do, we have to take cumulative weight retained. And I'm showing here is that when I click on it, so everywhere you are looking at cumulative weight retained, the previous value is added with the next value of the weight retained. So now we are moving to the cumulative percentage weight retained. So what we have to do, we have to apply the formula equals to this cell divided by 2000 grams. So we have to put the slash sign, and 2000 gram is the fixed amount of the total weight of the sample. For the calculation of the percentage, you have to put the dollar. Because weight of the sample should not be changed throughout the column, and E3 can be changed throughout the column, and steric 100 should remain same. So you can see this formula, and I am going to again write down the formula so you will get remember through it. And this E4 divided by E1, and we have to put the dollar sign in between that, and then we have to apply the multiply with 100. So what we are getting 100. So now what we have to do, we have to select and drag and drop, and now you can see the 100 nearest to 100%. So we will get it 0.15% is lost between that. And now cumulative percentage weight passing. So how much retained on the sieve? So when we subtracted that percentage from 100, so we will get the cumulative percentage passing. If there is no weight retained on the starting sieve, so there will be 100% passing. So 100 minus 0, minus the cell 0 in which weight retained. So in the next step, what we will do equals to 100 minus F4. 100 minus F5. So now we are going to put the drag and drop. So how can we do that? And you can see that this one. This is the way to find out the cumulative weight percentage weight passing. And you can see 8.6% weight retained. So passing should be 91.4%. And if there is 44.7% passing weight retained, so 55.3% passing. In the same way, 80.05% weight retained and 19.95 passing. Now we have to make this attractive. And how can you make your table attractive and fascinating? I already told you in my previous videos. So you have to make it all border and bold it, and this should be merged and center. So when you merge and center, and what you have to do in the next step, you have to do it is 2000 gram, and this is the way. And you have to select all the table, all border properly. And I am going to make it darker for it. And how can I make it darker? Let's see this one. And this is all border done. Now I am going to insert a graph. And how can you do that? So we have to make the graph between sieve sizes in millimeter on the x-axis. So insert scatter graph, second option. Now I am going to select data for this. So first I have make it at the center, select data. You have to go for the select data and add it. And series name should be sieve analysis of coarse aggregate. So you should write down sieve analysis of coarse aggregate. This is done. And then you have to select the values as the x-axis. So I am taking sieve sizes in millimeter. So you have to select this column. And when you will select it, so you have to go for the, you obviously you will not are not going to select the pan as right now, and cumulative percentage passing. So you have to select the cumulative percentage passing and then okay. Okay. And you will get this graph. And what is next? You have to make this as log graph. So how can you do that? So first you have to put the axis title. So I always believe that I always already told you always must write the axis title, because axis without axis title, I cannot identify what the values you are taking on the axis. So sieve sizes in millimeter on the x-axis and make it bold. And then what we are going to do on the y-axis, we are going to the axis title cumulative percentage weight passing. So we have to write it down, cumulative percentage weight passing. Cumulative percentage. I got this spelling CUMULATIVE on the internet, and I'm writing cumulative, but you can cross check it for the cumulative spelling of cumulative, because there is a difference of British and American standard. So you can check it out. And what I am going to tell you on the x-axis, what you have to select. First, you make the values bold, and now you have to right click on the x-axis and you will get the format axis. Right click on it and format axis. First, I am going to format axis. Click on it and you have to click on two options, check mark over here, logarithmic scale. And there should be, it is remove, not getting it. So you have to select it again. So you have to go not for the axis value, you have to go for the logarithmic scale, check mark and values in the reverse order. So these are the two things you have to select it for the X value, not for the Y values. So you have to format axis at the X value. Another thing what you have to click on the logarithmic scale and values in reverse order for the X value. When you have done with that, so what you have to do next, you have to select the add minor grid lines. So you must add minor grid lines. The other things what you have to do on the y-axis, you are getting on your right hand side. So you have to change this. And how can you do it? So you have to click on the y-axis and go for the format axis. If you will apply for middle center and all that, so it will not help you out. This is not for the y-axis to be on the right hand side or the left hand side. There is no fill and line. You will not get these options. So what you have to do, you have to go into the format axis. These are not the things which will help you out. Not for this. These are you have to click on the format axis. And when you will click on the format axis, you have to go into the tick marks. No, tick marks is not help you out. You have to go for the label position next to axis. No, high. You have to click on high, so you will get your y-axis on your left hand side. When you will get it, so you are not getting your title. And now you can check it out if you want to make it in different positions. So you have other options also. So when you will go format axis, I am again telling you how can you go on the labels. On format axis, you have to go for the label position and you have to click on the next to axis high, low, and none. So if you will do none, so you will not get your y-axis values over there. So you can see, so you have to select the higher one. When you will do that, so what you have to do, you have to bring this axis title of y-axis towards on your left hand side. So you will decrease the size and you will bring it over there. Now you can see your graph properly and it is done. And now you can color outline, you can change the color of the outline so you can make your graph more attractive. And what are the other things you can do? You can do for minor axis, or you can change the color of the minor axis. So of the grid lines. Now you can see your graph is looking fine and good for it. And now it is done. And you can see the x-axis values are coming from 1 to 100. What does it mean by that? Your x-axis values were 1 to 100. So what does it mean by that? After 1, 2, because we have the reading of 1 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After that 100, 20, this is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So this is all about the x-axis values, and keep it in mind, you have to select logarithmic scale and VLUs in the reverse order for the x-axis. Now you can put data labels and legends. It's totally up to you. So now what are the other things you can do? You can make your graph more attractive by going into the design and layout option, format option. So you can change the color, even you can change the color of your graph line as well. So how can you do that? I'm telling you here all these things, all the steps over here. So these are the things you can check outline. And now you can see it's done. And then what you have to see, you can make your graph more attractive by changing colors and all that. And now one more thing I want to tell you is that what size you are getting, what size of material you are getting. At 100, all the things are passing, so there are no sizes are there. So you can see the cumulative percentage weight passing is over there. You got it, all the values. And one more thing I want to tell you, how can you take it sprint out? Students are going through with the problems that they are taking print out from the Excel sheet, so they are getting very small pictures. So what you can do, you can bring these two things on your Word document and you can arrange it over here. First of all, what you have to do, you have to select your table. If you want to select your graph first, so you can put it there. So you will copy here from there and you can paste, and you are having lots of paste option. So you will check it out which paste option is good for you, and you are getting your picture is more visible and more clear to over that. And if you are taking it as a picture, so you cannot change it. So it's all about you which paste option you want to select it. You will select it here. And then what you have to do, this, you have to select this graph from your MS Excel, and you have to copy from here and put it on the Word. And now you can arrange both size. You can select which option you want to check it out. It is coming out to be big. So you have to take a selection, and if you want to bring it down, so you can make it bring it down, you can arrange it. So what's right now, I am trying to make its size, both of the size are having should be equal. So, and I want to give gap between the two pictures. So what I have to do, I will make it enter and give it gap. So it will get more visible and more clear to all of you, and you will get both the pictures on a single word page. So in this way, your printout will coming out will be good, and it will look better. It will not be like that you are getting very small size or small size of picture. So let me go into the file and print option and check it out how the print is coming. So you can see the picture is coming so much better, and you are looking at the more space at the bottom, so you can arrange it yourself. It's quite easier on MS Word. So I will tell you here that you can also do it on the MS Excel as well, but I will tell you later on, because it is more easier for you to make it to get it print out. And more things what I am telling you is that this graph, on this graph you can see that, yeah, 100% passing means there is no size of material which is in between what I first add minor grid lines, and it will help you how the material is. 91.4% passing, so it means you have a material of 20 millimeter in size. You have material of 10, 15, 12 millimeter of size. You will get material of 10 millimeter in size, nearest to 10 millimeter, not exactly 10 millimeter. And then you have material of 9, 8, 7, 6 point something. So you can see in the sieve sizes that which type of material you are getting in your sieve analysis of coarse aggregate. So you have mostly material of 12.7 millimeter in size, fraction size 9.52 millimeter, 5 millimeter in size, and 19.05 millimeter is in a small amount. You have more amount of 6.35 millimeter in size. So you can see how much percentage you are getting amount of different sizes of material in your sample. So you will be able to find it out which type of material, which sizes of material you are getting from this sieve analysis of coarse aggregate. And you have to perform the sieve analysis of fine aggregate like this. Hopefully you will get like this video, and you will understand it. How can you perform this experiment? How can you work out for your manual? And how can you make your sieve analysis graph? And if you find it helpful and useful for and productive video, so what you have to do, you must have to subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell notification. What are the other things you have to do? You have to follow me on www.nahishazadblogspot.com. And one more thing, I have started learning IELTS. And if someone is interested, so what you have to do, you must have to subscribe my channel to get more updates on IELTS sessions. So I have started to upload my writing samples on my blogspot, and you will find easier and you will get idea about the topics, what are the things you have to discuss in your speaking and writing sample writing in IELTS section. And I will start IELTS videos for teaching as well within a month, and you will start getting lectures over that as well. So if you find my videos helpful, so what you have to do, you must have to subscribe my channel for this purpose. And I am also going live sessions. So if you have any query regarding your subject,